Welcome to Moon Harbor Extended. Today's issue is Cosmic, Issue 1, The Pilots. On the cover, the Universal Ship Brigade floats above a diamond planet. In the background, 3 black and green sphere ships fly in formation. Through the windows of the individual ship pods, we can see our heroes. We turn the page and our story begins. So we're going to open up with just a shot outside the ship. I think it's a full page. We're just seeing star fields and nebulas and just various colors, just hypercolor almost. Does someone give me a visual description for like the outside of the ship? You've been in long distance travel mode, whatever that looks like.
The pods all together.
The ship that's like the background, like the piece we all connect to when we become pods, or when we like split off in our pods. I feel like it's basically just like a floating horizontal rectangle with like slots for us to allot in. I think there's space for like 7 or 8 of them, but we only have 4 currently.
I'm into that. Everyone feel good about that?
Yeah. What shape are our pods? We could figure that out.
We said they look like USB ports. Are we still going with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of imagine that there's like the cockpit is where the connector bit is, and then out of the back is a flame or something.
Do we occasionally have an issue where we try to plug in, but we're pointing the wrong way?
Yeah.
You have flip upside down, then right side up, then upside down again.
It's called quantum flipping. It's a thing.
And then there's a little editor's note labeling the ship as the Universal Ship Brigade, USB. Jet, feel free to veto this question, but like what graphic has been painted on the outside of your pod? Because I feel like there is one.
Like those neon signs you see outside of bars of the night, only in paint form.
I like it. And then we're going to cut to the inside of the ship. What room do we find the entire group in? We're going to get like a little bit of a mission briefing here. What does that room look like?
I would kind of like to have like a Star Trek style bridge.
Yeah, like for a mission briefing, we're all in kind of like the main control room.
Is there like a central computer, or like is it on a side?
I was thinking it's like holographic, like all of our information pops up in holographic images in the center of the room.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce a like video style feed of Dr. Henry Child. So however you all want to set that aesthetic on your ship. You guys get a lot of narrative control on what the ship looks like.
So we're doing classic computer, we're doing hologram, are we doing some other iteration of?
Yeah, I really like hologram, and that when it's not showing Dr. Childs, it can show us like a hologram of the space around us, which for the most part is pretty empty, but could look cool if there's other stuff nearby.
Like a nice circular central console thing.
Can I make another suggestion before we lock in on that? I know I was only came up with that concept. What if our meetings were all done in like VR? So like we put on goggles and then like the room could look like whatever it wants and it can like shift to be other locales.
Okay, my brain just exploded.
In a good way or in a bad way?
That sounds awesome.
Because it also gives you a reason, like if you all have like shades and the shades are automatically VR goggles, it also gives you a reason to like not look at me as a person. I also could have like an avatar that's not blinding, so you could look at me in these meetings.
That would be cool. Also, I feel like if we have like goggles on that are even just doing stuff like virtual reality, it could give us like subtitles for when people are speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like we're going to be meeting a bunch of aliens, they're not going to speak English.
This gives me the impression that like you are all normally in your own pods and that like the inside of the collective ship's kind of cramped. Is that the feel you're going for?
Yeah, I was thinking it's honestly just the hallway that connects us. It's like the hallway that connects us, and there's also like a kitchen and a bathroom. But most of the time we're in our own individual pods or like visiting each other's pods.
Yeah, I second that.
And so when we're in this VR space, you just like you walk 2 feet in front of you and a little invisible wall pops up.
I'm going to say that the actual like connector ship is actually really small, and there is a bathroom and a kitchen, but it's literally a toilet and a microwave in the same little space.
No.
Do it.
Do we each have bins in our own ship, or like are we just eating microwave bathroom food?
I just need people to shout at Jet, did you wash your hands?
I really like the 3 rooms in the long hallway, and then I feel like in each of our we have like a bedroom and then like a control center for steering.
I would like to point out that all of the furniture in my ship is made out of bricks.
We all good with this? I love that. Okay, so our next shot after the establishing shot outside the ship is inside this control room, and Dr. Henry Child is what do we want the control room to look like? The holographic space or the VR space?
I kind of think it starts as like an open field, like sunny open field, and then he like changes it to be other things. But like when he's talking to us, he's like sitting like leaned up against a tree most of the time.
Yeah, I really like that as like a nice contrast from being in space.
I kind of want to put one veto out there, but I don't think we should have like a talking computer because I think those are way overdone.
I agree.
And so we cut from that space shot to a like wide open field with a tree, and Dr. Henry Child is leaning against the tree. He's dressed in his saber uniform, but has a lab coat on over top of it. And go ahead and give me introductions visually for all your characters. Where are you in this as he's briefing you?
I think Obi cross-legged in the grass, like nearby.
I'm a bit further away. I'm standing cross-armed and leaning against the walls of the VR. You can see the little barrier popping up behind me.
I feel like I should also add that Obi's probably like stimming with like her hands in the grass.
Mal is sitting on a tree stump not too far away. Mal in the VR world looks like what Mal thinks they would have looked like had they not turned into Stardust. So I think it's like we see what looks like a like pretty average looking teenager, darker skin, dark brown eyes, dark black hair, very, very like androgynous, and I'm gonna use the word plain, but I don't think Mal was like I was gonna grow up to be exceptionally beautiful. I think Mal was like I'm gonna grow up to look average.
And Mason?
I think Mason would be standing up in a very, well, not a stiff pose, but still like a fairly good pose, straight, and just looking very focused.
I like the contrast with him looking to be like about 11, right?
Yeah.
And we're catching the like tail end of the doctor signing. He's saying that the Starlings are in, and when he signs Starlings, he very, very much looks away from Mal. It's a very uncomfortable moment. The Starlings are in the close by sector, and they've requested a protection escort to a nearby site that they're doing some studies on. And this is like where you are on the way to. I think with that, he asked if there's any questions. Then he nods, his hologram snaps off, and we're left with the four of you in this patch of grass here.
I think Mal's gonna stand up and look around and be like, all right, we should probably head out in the next hour or so. So get any food you need, hit the bathroom, and we'll take off soon. And then I think we see Mal click out of VR, and then we see Mal sitting actually on top of the ship, not in the suit, just like glowing space body sitting on top of this ship as we're flying through space.
I think we're gonna get a panel of like Ovi kind of like leans back from the cross-legged position, like in the grass, get out, like, man, if only. And then I think she'll like click out, and she's just like lying on like the kitchen floor.
Jet's gonna grumble to himself, I feel a little thirsty.
And do we want anything from Mason, or do you want me to cut up to the next scene there?
You can cut out.
Okay. Our next panel is your ship arriving in orbit around this. Someone give me a color for this planet. What does this planet look like from space?
I think it's made out of diamond. I think it refracts light.
Oh, I like that. And we see three small ships. They're just black orbs that have a lot of green lines of light running around them. We see the USB pulling up close to this group of ships. They hail you. I assume we take this in the VR room?
Yeah, that sounds like a cool place to like meet up with other ships.
Works for me.
And do we want it to look the same, or is that just for when you're talking to Henry?
I think it looks like a 1950s style diner.
Yeah, I was thinking a similar thing.
Amazing.
Like I think it like those like paintings of the diners where they don't have any exits, or they don't have any like exit doors.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're inside one of those.
Yeah, I was thinking like leather seats and stuff too, so I was also going for some kind of diner vibe. So I love that.
You good with that, Jet?
Was this our choosing or the Star Child's?
This is like, what is your default talking with another ship room?
Oh,
Or at
those
least
poor
for this
guys
one.
don't get a choice.
Nope.
I kind of think this is standard across the board. I think that this particular tech, this VR tech, was invented in and around Earth. Maybe not by Earthlings, but in and around Earth. And I
That
think
makes sense.
like this is the standard. Like everyone meets up at the Space Diner in the Stars, and that is
Does
just
it have
where-
a name?
The restaurant at the end of the universe.
Okay, that's it.
That's like
Um,
all I can picture. I'm just like Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yep.
And is everyone there during this hailing?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, where are we sitting?
I think we're at the bar.
I think Mason is the one that's behind the bar serving drinks.
I like that Mason just like seems to like to be busy. It's good. So the three of you like on stools and Mason behind?
Yep.
Now Jet feels really thirsty.
I'm like endlessly cleaning a glass.
I think we've perfected like when they arrive in the VR space, we like all swivel simultaneously. I think we've like practiced that a couple times.
I like it. It's a good look.
Yes.
So we get the four of you, and then we see a creature materialize in where the door would be. I want everyone to add one feature or thing about Starlings. We're gonna create our first alien race together.
I'm going to say that they're not humanoid shaped. They're slug shaped.
Okay, I'm into it.
Their bodies are covered in like little droplets of light. I think that light is a liquid resource on their planet. And like slugs, they do kind of like drip a little bit. They do like slime. But I think it's like they're covered in these beads of light, almost like a curtain across their back and torso and such.
I love it.
I think they have like antenna eyes that are just like pure balls of light.
I think they don't have any kind of mouth like we would normally expect, but they might have an orifice at the very top of their head.
Is that where they speak, or do they speak telepathically exclusively?
They could have a sign language with their eye stalks.
That's true.
That sounds so cool.
So the thing at the top of their head is a blowhole.
Maybe so they can hold their breath in the void of space.
And also in the rivers of liquid, the rivers of light.
So this Starling materializes. We get the panel of you all just perfectly timing turning. How does Mason participate in that turn? Is it just a head turn?
Mason would like he'd not be rebellious, but he would have none of this choreographed stuff. So he'd probably be just cleaning a glass with a towel the whole time.
Excellent. It starts to slime towards a stool and climbs up onto the stool next to who's on the end?
I'm definitely not next,
Closest or furthest?
Closest to the Starling.
Me, then Obi, then Tony.
Yeah, I think Obi's closest.
Okay, yes, it slimes up into a stool next to Obi and starts moving its eye stalks. And get the translation underneath. Saber said they would send someone. You've been humans reaching out and forging these new connections. We need to be escorted to a dangerous place. There's an anomaly that's of great interest to us, and you can tell that there's something they seem nervous about or something they're holding back.
While it's talking, I'm going to attempt to make a mental connection and see if I can get any emotional feedback. Like I wouldn't actually read their minds, because then they would know that somebody's trying to read their minds, because it's fairly obvious. But I would like try to get location,
Cool. What's
emotional.
that look like on the page?
Okay, so I think there would be a panel where you see Mason cleaning the glass like a professional waiter would, but then above his head you can see this thought bubble, and in the thought bubble you see Mason trying to open a lock with a lockpick, but like a mental lock.
Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers for me. And no pressure. The first roll sets the tone for the entire campaign.
Okay.
NVD.
Yay, potential.
Okay, that's the tone.
We get a series of images in your mind. If you have a particular way you want to show those, let me know. If not, we're just going to get a couple flashes of very massive, dark. They look like leeches, but the size of planets. And you get filled with this overwhelming sense of terror. I want you to go ahead and mark scared or afraid. Scared. The most superhero condition. I'm scared. And if you want to react to that.
I think immediately I get shocked out of the mental space and into the real world, but I'm still not gonna show it. Like my physical self is just still cleaning out that glass.
We cut back to like the tail end of the Starling continuing to like this conversation, and they do not seem to have noticed anything happening here.
Can I storm up to the guy and try and press more information out of him?
What do you say? How do you do it? What's it look like?
Hey, buddy, if you got something to tell us, if there's something you know that we need to know, you better tell us. And I release some kind of jet stream from my water in an intimidating manner.
Do you have a move that triggers off of intimidation?
Yeah, that's the you've got a head you don't need. When you provoke someone with obvious threats and shows of force, roll plus danger instead of plus superior.
Go ahead and do it. I like that our first interaction is, oh, that was terrifying. I'm going to punch you if you don't tell me things. We're off to a delightful start.
I was wondering what set off Jet to become more aggressive, because he wouldn't have picked up on what I saw in my mind, right? Or
it's not in response to what you saw in your mind. It's in response to the fact that the guy was clearly hiding something. You know, the same thing that triggered you to look into his mind.
Right, that's what I was figuring, but I was getting confused. Thanks.
On a 10, they rise to the bait and do what you want. On a 7 to 9, I can choose to have them do something else instead. Bleem kind of like scoots back off the chair a bit, almost falling off. And he's like, no, it's just, I didn't want to let on how dangerous it was. We've seen some scary things out there. We're not quite sure what they are, but it's of the utmost importance that we get this research done. And you take a +1 forward on your next move against them.
Okay.
What's the research? What's the anomaly?
We have an agreement to share that with Saber, but not until the protection is rendered. This does ring true. This was mentioned during the part of the briefing we didn't see.
At that moment, we see Mal's avatar click out. And then I think in the real world, I go and go into Tony's chamber and I tap him on the shoulder and I'm like, I need you to not make things worse right now. So please dial back the aggression.
This is coming from you. I'll consider it.
I think you put my hand on your shoulder in the real world. And
actually, that sounds like you're trying to provoke me, right?
I am, and I'm about to do it again. I put my hand on your shoulder, and then my hand just starts heating up, through the suit. Just starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I'm like, so let's cool down, okay? And I'm
going to roll to provoke.
Nope, that's a miss.
Tony, what do you say in response?
If you don't mind, I'll do things my way. You do things your way.
Have you taken off the VR goggles, or are you still talking where that he can hear you, or Bleem can hear you?
I am probably still have the goggles on.
So I think, we're going to cut back into the cafe, and Bleem is just openly staring at this while... Ovi, what are you doing?
I think she's trying to focus on Bleem. What do you want in terms of protection? What do you want from us?
Bleem focuses back on you, and we see we're getting indistinct arguing from Jet Avatar in the background. I think yelling directly at a jukebox. That feels right. And Bleem lays down a star chart, charting out what would amount to just a 2-day trip through a very dark part of space. He says the planet we need to get to is here, and we just need to make sure we get there and out safely.
Are you expecting trouble?
There's beasts in that part of space.
Can you give us any more information on that? We're interested. We just want to know what we're getting into.
We haven't captured anything on solid scans, just rumors amongst the crew.
I'm going to look at Bleem, and I'm going to ask, before we go though, do we have time to resupply because we're running low on supplies?
I'm not sure how this species size. I think it might be like an expulsion of like light droplets from the blowhole. Since there's not many stations out here, is there something you're in desperate need of? We may have things you need.
Do you have soda?
I like that you cut back in for that. We just get like the sign for just confusion. I'm gonna cut back out to Mal and Tony in the pod.
I think Mal backed down pretty quickly. Like once Tony started getting aggressive and like loud, they were pretty much like, okay, fine, do it your way. And they kind of like backed out. I think we see them on the outside of Tony's room, having like closed the door behind them. And like through the suit, they are starting to glow brighter and brighter and brighter. And then they take a second and like pull it back and just like stand and like regain composure. And then I think they click back into the scene, into the like VR world.
Okay. And I think we're on Mason here when we get back in.
Okay, so Mason would just ignore what Jed just said and say, we punctured our water tank slightly, so we would need to just get some more water, and then we can be on our way.
Yeah, they can help with that.
I think we get some panels of like Obi's looking around the room, like Mason's doing his glass polishing thing, and just like looking over and seeing, okay, Mal's back, Tony's done arguing with the jukebox, and then I think we get a panel of like, yeah, we're in.
I like it.
Can I get one more panel in this scene after everyone leaves? Like everyone blips out of the room.
Sure. Is everyone done in the room?
So have we resupplied already or not?
I was thinking we get like a couple panels resupplying after this scene.
Okay.
Or do you need a scene with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast my all over it move and leave a clone behind on their station to dig around a bit.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll jump to that in a sec.
After everyone kind of blips out, Mal's still in there. And I think Mal walks over to one of like the driplets of light. And I think like picks it up and looks at it. And there's a moment of like really intense sadness. And then Mal like clicks off the VR goggles and is back in the real world.
Okay, awesome. We're going to cut from that to a panel of the ships connected. Mason, do you have any ideas on what that looks like?
I think we would land, and then there would be an exchange of goods, and it would be all Masons. So there will probably be like 5 or 6 Masons carrying stuff around, making it a bit confusing for the Starlings to figure out what's going on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
like that, like just on the surface of this diamond pit planet.
Yeah, and there's like 5 or 6 Masons carrying everything around, while the rest of the team maybe pays for the goods or something. And then in the next panel, you see one of the Masons sneak off into the facility. Then I'm going to roll for it. So,
what do you want this Mason to do? Like, what's your objective?
Okay, so I'm going to ask to do a quick recon of the base, and then, like, I imagine since there's I made it so. Yeah, I think in this case the clone needs to report back to us. So he would probably do a little recon, try to steal your standard escape pod, and then try to get within reach of us. Yeah, because I have a limited range on my hive. I can't just do a Naruto and let him poof and report back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll it.
That's 12.
All right. So
I
that's
can
2
pick,
from the list.
That's
do you want to post that move so everyone can see it there?
I'll read it maybe 2 for the recording. So
Yeah,
all
perfect.
over it, when you send someone you trust to do something important for you, roll plus superior. On a hit, they do it. On a 7 to 9, pick 1. And on a 10 plus, pick 2. The 2 I'm going to pick is that they do exactly what I asked them to do, and they pull it off in a timely manner.
Okay, excellent. And then I think we get a couple panels of this Mason clone slipping unseen aboard the ship, and then heading off into like the dank underbelly of it. We'll get back to them in a little bit. You wanted them to come back in an escape pod once they get back, or once we're back in space, right?
Yeah, probably. Well, we'd probably be already on our way, but yeah, they would probably need a few hours to do a quick recon and then come behind us. At which point we'd probably already be a little bit out.
So yeah, we're gonna cut from that to you all in space. We get the shot of the USB following along behind these orb ships, and we see just a small escape pod pop out and start drifting towards your ship. Mason, do you want to jump in here?
Sure. So
I think everyone on the ship is aware of this. I don't know what Mason shared.
when the pod's about an hour away from them, he would probably just matter-of-factly say to the team, my scout is back. But they probably don't have any clue that I sent out a scout.
Any reaction, team?
I don't think Ovi's gonna necessarily react, but I feel like she's definitely gonna like stick around just to see what's happening. Because I think if there are any clones of Mason, she wants to hang around and make sure everything goes okay.
I think Ovi and I give each other a look. I think it's like a, don't necessarily love when he makes clones of himself that we don't know about. And I think there's just a moment of like, okay, he did it again.
Yep, seconded.
At this moment, you notice that the clone that came to that is the version of Mason that is talking to you just poofs out of existence. So you just realize that the thing you were talking to is also a clone.
I think we get a panel where like of Ovi's face. It's just this look of like, oh my god.
Mason, how do you get information from your clones?
I could exert myself and get it mentally, but in this case, I would probably wait until it's fairly close before poofing, because if I have to do like a few hundred miles in space to get my information, that would probably drain me a bit. But basically, if they're within the reach of the hive, which is a few hundred kilometers, I can in theory get everything that clone knows.
Do we want to have a scene with like the clone physically aboard the ship, telling what they saw? Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Or do you want to find a way to frame the reabsorption, like how we see that knowledge?
I think at this point the whole team is kind of curious what's gonna step out of the pod, and I guess we would be all standing there waiting, and then the clone steps out of the pod.
Okay, cool. So like we're in like a little hallway, one of the unused connectors.
Yeah, probably.
Is everyone there?
Ovi is there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, and then the bay door opens and another Mason steps out. This Mason's pretty wide-eyed. He looks like he's seen some shit. He's like, okay, so it looks like it's a research vessel. There's something in the middle. They're carrying something that's under very, very heavy security. I tried to get in, and it set off alerts. They know someone was on board, but they didn't see me.
Could they link it to us?
Maybe. I had to get out quickly. I can't be sure I didn't leave any trace.
I mean, the fact that their escape pod is now attached to our ship might be a giveaway.
Yeah,
We get the outside shot.
I think that shot also shows like their escape pod blatantly does not fit the ship at all. It looks very different.
Yeah, I think everything in their tech is like all very orb based, and like all of our stuff is very square. So like we kind of like jerry rigged a connection to make it work, but like it's not designed to fit together.
I like that.
I'm like, okay, so what do we do? Do we send this ship back? Do we drop it in the darkness of space? What do we do with this escape pod?
At this point, the Mason you're talking to, the wide-eyed one, just poofs out of existence.
I turn to other Mason, original Mason, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't actually answer my question.
I feel like the next panel is everyone turning to original Mason.
Yes.
The Mason you're talking to was working on a panel trying to fix a few things. He just looks over his shoulder and poofs out of existence, and then everybody hears behind their back, "It's fine, I got this," and you see a Mason step into the pod and launch into deep space.
Into the Starling pod?
Yeah. You hear "I got this" behind your back, and you see a Mason stepping into the space pod and just launching into deep space with the Starling space pod.
I think I like pull everyone back, or I think I like toss gravity on the back wall, like toss like a intense like gravity pull on the back wall and like pull us all backwards as the ship takes off with like the door essentially still open. Like I think that like Mason jumped into the pod, launched away, and we never like did the proper protocols to like seal the ship before we did that. So I like pull everyone back just in time before we all essentially implode in the vacuum of space.
I like that. And then, Mason, I'm going to ask you to use the Kirby Craft move with Unleash Your Powers to get it a far enough distance away undetected.
Okay.
All right. We get the panels of this, growing more and more distant, and then we can no longer see it. We're going to cut back inside. I think everyone's kind of just in a heap at the end of the hallway.
There's no Mason inside at this point, right?
Oh, well, I'm going to shout. So, original Mason, where are you hiding now?
From 3 different places in the ship, you can hear the words, define original.
Oh, it's not this again.
Do we have name tags? We should get name tags.
I think Mal immediately is just like, all right, I need every Mason on this ship in the hallway now.
There's a hatch above. There's a hatch above your head that opens, and a Mason in spacesuit sticks his head through the hatch and is like, "Does that include me?"
I pull him out of the hatch.
I think we pull you in, and then I'm like, okay, there's 1. How many more of you are there right now?
We heard 3.
Okay, so 3 more Masons come walking down the hall and walk into the room. And at this point, all of the Masons except one poof, because I wouldn't usually talk to people with 4 Masons at a time. So I just poof all of the Masons except for the one. And it looks at you guys and it's like, it's only me now, guys. What's up?
I think we get the panel of Jet holding an empty suit now.
That's what I was going for, yeah.
Excellent.
I look at you and I'm like, so we should probably have a conversation about sending scouts into friendly ships that we are working with and not, running the risk of jeopardizing the entire mission.
Yeah, it's almost like that could cause a huge galactic war.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a tragedy, Mason?
Can't we just be glad that he at least stood up for himself?
Shut up, Jet.
I made that decision after Jet played Cowboy with Bleem. I was like, if we're going to be aggressive about this and tell them all of the secrets of our team anyway, I might as well send out a scout. I'm sorry, I should have run it by you guys. Yeah, but I didn't really have time to run it by you guys. But I'm sorry, I'll do that. I'll try to do that in future.
We appreciate it.
Jet just kind of frowns and looks away.
Mason walks over to the spacesuit and grabs it and starts neatly folding it into a small, compact pile.
Mal looks around and is like, okay, so we've had a day and everyone seems pretty tense. So, I'm not saying that I have drinks in my room because that wouldn't be something that we'd be allowed to have because we are all not 21. But if you wanted to come and have a juice box in my room, I think we could all use it today.
Who says there's a drinking age in the future? Let's go.
I think we know what our next scene is. Who's there?
Obi.
I mean, obviously I am.
Oh, Jet's a little impressed now.
Time to switch love and rival!
I think Mason's gonna stay out of this one.
And I'll go ahead and set that scene.
I think we get the panel of the 3 people walking into Mal's room, and then I think we see that Mason's standing behind, and I turn and I'm like, you don't have to drink, but you should come hang out. We need to relax a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. I'll be more relaxed if I can see that you're using a coaster in there. I'll come with.
I think we go in, and I think the next panel we all step through the door, and then all of a sudden we're in I think we see our avatars as 8-bit classic video game avatars, and we are all in VR world playing a game together. And I think it's vaguely Super Mario-esque, it's very 2-dimensional.
I love this, but Obi is probably really uncomfortable.
And I think I'm running ahead and I'm like, no, I promise you this game is really, really fun. If you hit this block right here, it's a secret. It opens a secret level. So here. And I jump and I hit it and then disappear. I think we just see a little bit of playing together, and I think we see very classic looking video game stuff. Because we're all kind of 8-bitty and avatar-y, I think we can't ever really hold hands or anything, but I think I kind of nudge Ovi and I'm like, hey, relax, it's gonna be fine. We're all okay.
I don't like being 2D.
That's fair. And I think we pull back and see the 4 of us standing in separate spots in the room, all with alcoholic juice boxes in our hand. And I think it's just general laughter kind of thing.
I think when we first pop back, we see Obi grabbing her arm Okay, it's 3D.
Yeah, I like that pullback with you all still having the headsets on. I'm going to add a detail that outside the window, the reader is seeing just large, dark shapes that they're only being seen by where they occlude the stars, kind of slipping in between the ships. Moon Harbor Extended is part of the Icy New Year Presents network and is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. This issue was GM'd by me, Anthony Sheets. Jet is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Mason is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as @Gilberecki. Portali is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yellen on Twitter. Stardust is played by T. Huth. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music for this issue was Work by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his license and site will be found in the episode notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.